Hey there, guys. This is Nate again with Aubit Sound, and today I'm going to teach you the theory of the Chainsmokers. Hopefully, after you guys watch this video, you get a better understanding of not only the chords of the Chainsmokers, but specifically their dynamic of writing. And I think in order to start that, I want to say that I know you guys want to make these original chord progressions that are really awesome and unique and sort of out of the box. I mean, that's what makes a really incredible composer and songwriter. But before you do that, I want you guys to understand that there are patterns in everything, and because of those patterns, I don't want you to think that those patterns devalue the originality of your work. The originality is in what you do with what you have. I know that doesn't sound like much, but the more you write and the more you exercise, the more discipline that you put into learning what these chords are and how they work, I guarantee you're going to come up with something new and something interesting. I think Sick Boy, we'll get into this one later, is a really good example of that. But we're going to start with our most common progression that we hear a lot throughout their Memories Do Not Open album, which is the closer progression, which is basically in a key you have 7 degrees, technically 8, but the 8th is the first. You'll see that right now. This progression that I have is in the key of A, so let's go ahead and play it. Really nice stuff. Anyways, this is in the key of A, and you can see here, that's A, and then it goes. Now, you can hear your ear automatically moves to the next note. You already know what it's going to be, especially like, you start, right? These two, there's a half step in between. And same thing right here. What happens is there's a half step between the 3rd and 4th and 7th and 1st. It's basically something that, I mean, honestly, you could memorize. I've memorized it. And it's not that hard to memorize. I mean, you could just ingrain it in your brain all day, and that's how you could get it. But it's really not that hard. Typically, your ear can follow after a while. Especially for those of you guys that are starting out, I 10 out of 10 would recommend you guys, if you have a keyboard, practice that. Honestly, even one of the easier ways to memorize this is if I just, let's go up here. You can start on C, because C, everything is already laid out. You have, and then 3, 4, and then 7 and 1, see? Right? And also, I gotta say something. Half steps are some of the strongest intervals, so notes next to each other, that you can have. So you got yourself a really cool little melody right there. I know it doesn't sound like anything, but like, you know what? Let's do something with that. Let's go over here. And let's go. And you have something, right? But then we're in C, so let's just like, I have all the notes are highlighted, so I can just. Now, that is the root of the key, right? And what happens is, if I take a root chord, and I'm like, and then I think that's probably the strongest note, so that I'll make that E. So these are basically chords that you can hear on a piano, and I'll show you chords in a second. I just want you guys to hear the capacity of what you can do with just knowing half steps. See, and you already have something. And that's all just from knowing, okay, I just keep my notes in the white keys and then boom, I have something. We could transpose this to the key of A. So if I like select everything, let me turn this off for a second, and I'm just like, now we're in A. See what it sounds like. See, my ear moved to what the next thing would be. Bum, bum, bum. And we already have something like really impressive. We got and look, here's something else I want to point out. We have notes that hold out all the way through. The best way to write chords is to know that at least one or two notes continue off into the next change. So we have an A major chord followed by a C sharp minor chord. Yes, but see, I just also and see whatever's not connected, I keep it closest to the whatever note comes next. And then this one's got one note harmonically functional to the next. That's a fancy term. It connects to the next one. I'm trying to like simplify this stuff down so that you guys can just like look at it and really like absorb it. Quick review. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. We've got connections. Any changes, keep them as close to what was previously played. And half steps are important. Let's go back to the Chainsmokers. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait, these don't connect. They don't, but they progress closely to each other as well. And these two do connect. With the only difference being that this note is just a half step off from the previous one. So ultimately, you just have to get a stronger understanding of the connections between notes. The best way to do that is to just keep writing chord progressions, honestly, and look at the Chainsmokers progressions as well and see where the connections are. So we have, let's take this, actually move it down to C. This is not C, just kidding, because this starts on the 4. I'll explain in a second. This chord is also interesting. I'll get to that in a second. The Chainsmokers tend to do a lot of repetition, but it works. Don't give them flack for that, because if you look at some classical pieces, I can guarantee you that they do that too. So most popular chord progression, this is, so 1 is down here, right? And the melody starts on the 1, which is nice, but the chord is the 4. If we were to start on the 1, let's see how that would sound. So right, and it's still in tune. Naturally, it's in the key, but what I'm trying to say is it still follows, because what we have, see, we have the connection. Even if it's above the octave, it's still there. And look, we actually, here's something important. I managed to keep the melody by inverting the chord. Inverting means a little theory science for you. Take the first note, throw it up an octave. You're in first inversion. Take the next note, throw it up an octave. You're in second inversion. Now, if you have a 7th chord, you can go first inversion. You You can go into second inversion and even third inversion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's so much more that I am now realizing I want to expand on, and I'm sure that we'll do that in a later tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.